And the next thing that you need to focus on, moving out of the career path type deal, because I talked about relationships, career path, is since I probably should hit all the topics that I talked about, people don't talk about. Um, I said relationships, career, um, finding your true self. Okay, this one's easy. It's funny to say that because finding your true self is a long, complicated process. But throughout the world, once you're doing all your research on different things you want to do and uh, figuring out your relationship, or if you do or don't have a relationship, you're gonna find your true self because you're gonna question yourself and be like, what do I actually want? And throughout that process, you're gonna find, oh, these are the things I want. This is who I am. Damn anybody that think otherwise. Damn anybody that's trying to change me. And once you get into that mindset, you have found your true self. I have just simplified it to the utmost degree. Um, um, I already talked a little bit about the good sexual health, but I'll go back to it. Uh, by good sexual health, I mean like making sure that when you do have sex with someone, you actually care about that person, because you can have sex for just sex for alone, but if you don't do it because you care about that person, a lot of times you'll just have sex with that person in, I know, sex, scary word. Um, you'll just end up having sex with that person and then catching feelings because sex in itself is supposed to be a special act. It's not something you just go and do every single day with anybody. And there's some other stuff I'll probably get into sexual health later because it's like serious topic, and I'm already at least 35 minutes in this video, and for people that made it this far, thank you. You're awesome, because all I'm really doing is explaining life to its simplest terms, and you know, people like simplicity. We try to oversimplify simple words, oversimplify things at times. The whole point thing that I was talking about is we do want to simplify things, but not life is not as simple as it seems. You know, play it back into my theory that I was mentioned, and then we got one of the last topics that people don't really talk about is rape and sexual assault. I'm gonna put those two together because that's important. Um, those two topics, it can change your outlook, the way you grow up, the way you perceive things, which plays into your outlook. But you know, um, there's people I know that wanted to change their whole entire gender identity because of something that happened in their past. Which, personally speaking, if that's what you want to do, and if you haven't gone through your whole life wanting to change your gender to begin with, um, I guess this also ties into the sexuality thing. Um, you're gonna want to do this because of the simple fact that it's scary to go through something like that. And honestly, pissed me off when somebody said this to me. It's like, you don't know, you've never experienced. Like, I can never know 100% what you went through because I don't know you 100%. You can never truly know anybody 100%. Only way I would know 100% is if I was around when it happened. And that's probably why people confide in me, because I've experienced stuff and I'll be open to talk about certain topics and they're just like blurt it out because it's been weighing on your conscience. These are things that when it comes to sexual health slash assault, rape, that are extremely important, pertinent, if even, to talk about, that we don't talk about, for the simple fact that, like, oh, we cannot handle the topic itself, because a lot of people don't go through it, and the ones that do can't talk about it because it brings back up terrible memories. But the thing is, you have to deal with it. In life, you gotta just deal. You gotta deal with everything that comes your way, even though it can seem overwhelming. And that's why part of the reason why I get depressed sometimes is because, I couldn't deal with that or that thing at that moment. Like I said, sometimes you have to take a step back. If even, I feel like most people, this is just me, should have a journal. Because writing down your thoughts helps you process them. Because being in your head is not healthy. It really isn't. That's why I have a whole problem with the prison system and the mental institution, is because you'll get in your head so much that you have to protect yourself in both of those scenarios, to the point of which you are isolating yourself to. And humans, as we are social beings. We need interaction. Being put in those scenarios, you'll isolate yourself so much to the point where you cannot do anything without lashing out or being violent, because you don't know which is which. You start to blur lines. Prison system makes it so that bad people get put away. I get that. And I get the whole death penalty too. But what happens is, when you make a bad person feel worse, they become worse. And my mom was telling me how, oh, that's just, how you perceive things, your mindset. You got to have a positive mindset. You have to have the mindset of being willing to become better or whatever. And yeah, that's good in theory. It's always great in theory. But at the same time, when it comes to stuff like that, especially with the prison system, is that if you do something minor, you might get anywhere between 6 months and 5 years for something minor, right? And if you're a repeat offender for that something minor, they increase the number of years to the point where you're in the prison system so much that you're away from everybody you care about, which plays into that topic of isolation. When you're isolated, you change your mindset. You start to blur lines. You start to want to go back to a place where you were isolated because you can't handle things. Because throughout life, we're trying to figure out stuff. And if you isolate a person, keep them from mentally growing, what it does is makes them regress. Regress is basically when you go back to a previous mindset, previous lifestyle, previous. And I felt that because I was thinking about it so much, all these different topics, what is life, how life can be perceived, that I needed to talk about it. Because I guess in a way, it is a therapy being on YouTube talking about stuff. But I don't do it just for therapy. I do it to inform. I don't know. The whole being the most informed person in the room thing, it's been my life up until this point. Because I had to be really informed to be able to deal with the situations I was dealing with. Growing up in Chicago most of my life. Dealing with getting to fights every single day, even though I was told, it's like, oh, you didn't have it as bad as I had it when I was little. That's just a perception thing. And if I knew that at that age, you should know that as an adult. The way you're perceiving it is, I didn't have it that bad. The way I'm perceiving it is, I'm being racially profiled, racially prosecuted, fighting because I have it better than you do, quotation marks. And in my mind, I'm struggling just as much as you are. Because everyone struggles. And the sooner we all figure that out, the better off we'll be. Because then we'll be able to actually do how life is supposed to be meant. Help each other grow. Help each other become better people. That plays into a relationship thing. Making relationships lasting, important, and helping each other. Because we need other people, no matter if we use them in the good sense or use them in the bad sense. Bad sense, I mean like trying to take as much stuff as possible from people. In the good sense, I mean using them to help you grow as a person and then giving that growth back to them. Showing them their self-worth. These are all things I feel to be important that we should be talking about. Before I go I'm going to go ahead and end the video here because it's already going on 45 minutes. Pretty damn long video. This is just, when it comes to life, it's multifaceted. A lot to talk about. And I might go into just, like I said, those 6 different topics that I talked about. I might just make a video about each one of them just so I can express those particular things. Because I know this video is long. Most people's attention span doesn't last statistically is anywhere between 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes. And I know that because I'm just talking, I can't keep your attention. But these are topics we need to talk about. Like I said, when we understand that we need each other, we need people, we need to, what we want out of life, all those different things, we'll be better off. Then we can actually start making changes. Because me personally, I want to make so many changes in the world. I want to reshape change the meta, change how everything is perceived. Because I never liked the topic of racism, sexism, or sexism. Pretty much the 2 big topics. I never liked those. Because when it comes to those, you're limiting your perspective because of their certain type of race. That's number 1. And it goes both ways. The person that's being prosecuted limits their perspective because they're being prosecuted, and you tell somebody something enough times, they're going to start to believe it. And I don't get why people don't believe me when I say that. You breathe enough negativity into somebody, they become toxic. 2, what was 2? Totally lost my train of thought because I was so focused on the first one. 2, damn it, lost my train of thought. There's a lot to go over. Really should have wrote more of this down. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. I believe number 2 was the fact that we need people. And you either use people for your personal gain or you use people to help everyone grow and help yourself grow. We'll go ahead and end the video there. Like and subscribe for more. I will be doing more of these discussion videos because I'm not going to limit myself to just simply gaming videos. Because there's more that I want to do with YouTube. Because it might not be my main focus, but there's a lot I want to do with it. Music, games, discussions. I'm trying to inform you the hell out of people. Because, when you're more informed, you're more intelligent. And I can have an intelligent conversation with you. Smart people meet smart people. I'm out.